What's up, guys? Welcome back to today's episode of The Sports Sermon. We are brought to you by Scooch, the most functional phone case on the market. Check out ScoochCase.com to get yours today and use the code SPORTS18, sports with a Z, of course, to get a 10% discount on your order. Stay tuned till the end for a special Scooch giveaway as well. But now, today's episode. So we're in here today to talk about the Pac-12 South. I am Jason Gandhi. I am with Dylan Staggy. And of course, I'm with the college football guru, the man that knows everything about anything college football. He could tell you the third-string quarterback on Oregon State of 2006. He could tell you the 2022 recruit coming in to Alabama, then their starting kicker in 2028. He knows everything. I am with the man, the myth, the legend, Dan Majors.
Wait, what about the offensive line guru, though?
Oh, yeah, Dylan is the offensive line guru. So,
but you were the offensive.
I'm with all of these guys, and we are getting into the Pac-12 South. Dan, I'll let you take that away.
All right, well, thank you again for the welcome right there.
That's what I'm here for.
But we're going to go by standings division from last year in the Pac-12 South. We're going to start with USC, where they went 11-3 last year.
Hold on, before we get into USC, I want to stop this already. Let's talk about how great this division is going to be for headlines. Kevin Sumlin, Herm Edwards, and Chip Kelly, along with USC's and Clay Helton, who makes enough of himself. In general, are you guys excited to see this South? Because I am so pumped to see Chip Kelly come back, Herm Edwards come back, Kevin Sumlin. I absolutely love it.
Herm Edwards is the most questionable hire since, literally, I have no idea when.
You don't like Herm Edwards?
We'll get into that, but...
Actually, I want to talk about this right now. I actually want to know. Not Arizona State, Herm Edwards in general. As a coach.
As a coach in college football out of Arizona State, I think there's a lot that goes into it. I think he would be all right. Recruiting-wise, I think he'll be good.
What are your concerns?
On the field.
What about it? As I'm saying, what don't you trust him with?
He has never been the head coach of a college football team.
He's been the head coach of an NFL team.
Yeah, but those are different things.
And he wasn't good the last few years he was there. So,
and he hasn't even been a coach, period, in 10 years.
Right.
Wow.
We'll get into that, though, when we talk about Arizona State.
Let's do them now.
No, we're talking about USC. As USC went 11-3 last year, 8-1 in the conference, and won the Pac-12. And then they lost to Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl. They returned 13 total starters, 7 on offense and 6 on defense. Their key losses include Sam Darnold, Ronald Jones, Deontay Burnett, Uchenna Nwosu, and Rasheem Green. So, quarterback position, very interesting this year. What do you guys make of that position?
It's obviously not going to be the same without Sam Darnold. Matt Fink had 9 pass attempts last year. There's no clear successor to step in. The season depends on the QB and how Fink or whoever ends up being the long-term plan at quarterback depends on how he plays. JT Daniels is a very good option. I think they'll start off with Matt Fink, and then JT Daniels will be in case Matt Fink doesn't work out. Because Matt Fink's a sophomore, he knows the system, all of that. But whoever they decide to go with, it's going to be down to them on how the season rolls.
Do you think Fink is the starter most of the year?
No, I think they struggle. I think they lose to Stanford and Texas. They are 1-2, and they make the change.
Okay.
Really?
Maybe in the middle of the Texas game.
To JT Daniels.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
I think you've got to give the job to Daniels just because he's the most talented and he's the quarterback of the future. Mm-hmm. I think you got to be careful, though, because you don't want to ruin him with those 2 early games at Stanford and at Texas.
My point.
Why not get him the experience?
Get him the experience with Washington State.
Get him the experience in big-time games against Stanford and Texas, at Stanford. Those environments are insane.
Yeah, you don't want to ruin him during that, though, also.
But
that's why I say you have to be careful.
Get him experience in that kind of situation.
But what happens when he throws 2 picks in both of those games?
Then he learns from it. You can get better.
You can get worse, too. I'm saying I agree with you. I think Daniel should start.
Okay,
for both
let's say
those
he
games,
doesn't do that, and then his first game next year is at, I don't know who they have on the schedule, but let's say they'll have Notre Dame at Notre Dame. JT Daniels, that'll be his first ever big time game on the road. You trust him there? Why not get him some more starts with Stanford and Texas?
Yeah, I mean, I'm agreeing with you that I think Daniels should. I'm just saying you have to be a little bit careful.
Okay. All right. I think all three will get looks at some point this year, but I think you go with JT Daniels. He was Gatorade National Player of the Year last year and is extremely talented. Also, this could really set up for the future. USC's not going to make the playoff this year, and with what they lost from last year, just no way. They got manhandled in the Cotton Bowl last year, which showed they still have a long way to go, even with the kind of offense they had last year. This process has to begin with JT Daniels, and what's better than getting this kid experience in his first year? So, let's talk about the Trojans in the national spotlight. Are they a national title contender?
I mean, you said it yourself. They're not going to make the playoff. If they're not making the playoff, they're not a national title contender. I look at this roster and say no. But the position they're in, it's different. They are in a very weak Pac-12 South. They have 4 and 5 stars throughout this entire recruiting class every single year. I'm going to say no because I think they have a good shot to win the division, but there's no way they can beat Washington when it comes to the Pac-12.
No way?
No, I don't see them having a chance.
Even if JT Daniels goes like crazy, he gets a lot of experience in his first 12 games he plays, and then is a stud going into Washington. You just don't think that's going to happen?
I'm rolling with Jake Browning and Myles Gaskin.
Yeah, I am too. I just think JT Daniels and Amon-Ra St. Brown, both of those guys, their future is just going to be amazing. But this year, I just don't see it. Washington is just too big of a powerhouse in this Pac-12. USC, obviously, they got all the recruits last year. Their future is extremely bright, but not this year.
Yeah, I agree. They lose their top rusher, passer, and receiver after claiming to be one of the best offenses in the nation, even though, like I said earlier, they got manhandled by Ohio State last year. Pac-12 has a long way to go after that loss. If they get beat that bad with that kind of offense, there's no way they can compete for the title this year.
Well, Dylan, I got to ask you a question. Amon-Ra St. Brown, is he Equanimity St. Brown's brother?
Mm-hmm.
Is he actually? He went to USC?
They have like a like kind of a Ball family kind of thing in football. I'm not even kidding. I swear.
There's 3 of them. They're all fantastic.
Who, the Ball brothers?
I know there's 3 of those. I'm saying the St. Browns. There's 3 of them that are like really good.
There's like 4, I'm pretty sure.
And they're all like really good?
Yeah.
What?
And EQ was a stud.
Yeah, he got drafted really high. Remember when Zach had him in the first round? Shout out Zach Munson having Equanimity St. Brown in his first round NFL mock draft.
Anyway.
I'm saying, yeah, I mean, he had to have a hell of a season. I would never forget the catch against Texas.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. That was crazy.
Yeah, that was insane. Cartwheeling into the end zone.
The 18-wheeler or whatever that was.
Dude,
isn't that what it was called?
Yes, that's what it was called.
Remember that, Dylan?
No.
Oh. Remember Tyrone Swoops?
Yes.
What was the other guy? Freshman. He's still there. Sam. Was he there? No, he wasn't. No, that's the new guy. It was. Shoot. Tyrone Swoops and Shane Buechele. Shane Buechele. What a guy. Dylan's still like, shut up. What are you talking about?
I hated that game because I literally would go to school and all I would hear is just swoops. I hate it, dude.
You're fine.
But let's get into.
You're a Flyer now.
I mean, yeah.
Go
I'm still a Notre Dame football fan.
I go Flyers.
Let's get into our record and standings prediction for the Trojans this year.
Yeah, I have them 9-3, and they lose at Stanford, at Texas, and at Utah, and they finish first in the division.
I also have 9-3, losing to Stanford and Texas, but I also have a loss to Notre Dame.
Dan, you have USC beating Notre Dame, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, so you have Notre Dame beating USC?
Yes.
He does.
I don't know. I don't see that whatsoever. Because
why do you see it, Dylan?
I mean, I just think Notre Dame's the better team.
Last game of the year?
Are they
fighting for a playoff spot?
They definitely could be.
Oh, yeah. I think Notre Dame... What? Anyway, I think Notre Dame is... Notre Dame's definitely the better team, but Notre Dame hasn't won at USC since 2012 when USC was, I think they were like a 7-6 team.
Yeah.
Then before that, 2010 when Dane Chris was there. So
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dane
I bet you do.
No, I actually do. Dane Chris. I remember that guy. He's a baller.
Yeah. But So Kelly, I don't think Kelly can get the job done beating USC on the road. He hasn't beat Stanford on the road yet. So
Can Brian Kelly win big games?
no, he can't. Anyway, I have 10-2, 8-1 in the conference, and they win the South. I have them beating Notre Dame, losing to Stanford and Texas, and then they lose to Washington in the Pac-12 championship.
Solid. That's what I have. Only with one more loss. At Utah.
So 9-4.
9-4. Yeah, because they play the. Sorry. Yeah.
Yep. Let's move on to Arizona State. As last year they went 7-6.
This will be interesting.
6-3 in the conference. Finished second in the South and lost to NC State in the Sun Bowl. They returned 12 total starters, 8 on offense and 4 on defense. Their key losses include DeMario Richard, JoJo Wicker, Chad Adams, and Sam Jones. So, Herm Edwards is coming in. Very interesting hire. Very questionable in the college football minds of a lot of people. What do you guys make of this hire?
Dylan, you go first.
I think it's really interesting because,
Definitely.
he hasn't coached anywhere for a while and made his entire coaching career in the NFL. I looked it up. He hasn't even been in the college game for 30 years.
Yeah.
But I respect Arizona State for trying something different with this Herm Edwards hire. I just don't think it'll work out well.
The whole hire is questionable. His style of play will probably not work out in 2018, as it didn't even work out in the early 2000s with a 54-74 record as an NFL head coach. The only good thing that could come out of this is the recruiting. I compare this kind of recruiting to when Jim Harbaugh came to Michigan. Edwards just has that kind of personality that young kids will like. So the recruiting side definitely could work out. This all can end up being a bombshell. Style of play, how he does on the field will be very interesting to see.
Yeah, I think you guys just forget how good of a coach and motivator Herm Edwards was. He was one of my favorite analysts when he was on ESPN. I think you just see his passion for the game when he was in ESPN, but also when he's a coach in Kansas City. This is a great hire for Tempe and the Sun Devils. It's risky, and I get that.
Mm-hmm.
He might not change the culture overnight, but he's one hell of a coach. What are they risking? They went 7-6, 5-7, 6-7 in the last 3 years. Give him a chance. If anything, you're going to want guys to come down. The guys are going to come down there and play. I'd go play from Herm Edwards in a heartbeat. He'll motivate you to do anything. And so I don't really think it's too big of a risk from Arizona State. Yes, maybe the scheme doesn't work. Maybe he's been out of football too long. But people are saying the same thing about John Gruden, and I'm all in on that too. So I don't think because you're not coaching, I don't think it means you've been out of the game. Like, you're still watching football, you're still into football every single day, and so I'm not as worried as other people.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I like the risk because, they haven't been very good since, I don't know when it was. I think it might have been the 90s when they, I think, were a bowl win away from claiming the national title. So, I don't know. It's going to be very interesting. I like the risk, like I just said. Recruiting's going to be nice, but the style of play is where it gets me.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that was what worked for the Chiefs. Maybe he changed it up because I love a guy like Manny Wilkins. You look up his story and you have to love the guy. Him and N'Keal Harry, there isn't a lot to like, but with those two guys, it's the foundation to get Herm Edwards comfortable back in to coaching college football again. I think it's a great place to start with those two guys. That's the complete opposite of what his fit was with Larry Johnson in Kansas City. I'm assuming that's what you're referring to when he got the ball 90 times. Yeah. You give him a great quarterback with Manny Wilkins and a great guy like N'Keal Harry. Maybe this is the wake-up call. Hey, you've got this guy. You have to let him throw. And then from there, he takes the ground running.
Then does he know what to do then?
He's not stupid.
I understand that.
He knows what he's doing. He's been around football all of his life. He coached in the NFL for a reason. I have no doubts about him being able to figure out how to run a passing offense.
But I don't think he's ever had a scrambling quarterback before. Just football's so different now.
You're right.
I just don't understand how he'll fit in with that. He said he wants to go back to what he's been doing, just ground and pound.
And if that works, then it works. But I think what I'm saying is, if it ends up not working, this is a great first team to walk into because you've got a guy like Manny Wilkins and N'Keal Harry.
I love the risk.
Yeah, and so I think we're on the same page.
I like the risk, but it's still very questionable. So, I don't know. Let's move on to our record and standings prediction for Arizona State.
4-8, just because there isn't a whole lot to like and it's a brutal schedule. I have them beating Michigan State, but I have them losing to at San Diego State, at Washington, at Colorado, Stanford, at USC, Utah, at Oregon, at Arizona. Brutal schedule.
Yeah, I mean, this is a brand new team for Herm Edwards, and I think he struggles a lot this year. I also have 4-8.
I have 5-7, 3-6 in the conference, 4th in the South. I think they lose to Michigan State, Washington, Stanford, USC, Utah, Oregon,
I think
and
they beat
Arizona.
San Diego State.
Yeah.
I think that's a game they could lose. San Diego State's good this year.
I think they could, but
And that's why Michigan State, I think they lose San Diego State after they beat Michigan State on the upset the week before is why I had that, because that's a game I picked a while ago. I really think that Sun Devils just get hot, Herm Edwards gets them going, second game of the season, they're home, they upset a team like Michigan State. I don't know, I like Herm Edwards a lot.
that'd be huge for him. That'd be a huge win for him.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I think this is a bowl team, though, in terms of talent, with what they have in the passing game with Manny Wilkins and N'Keal Harry, but it's not a bowl team based on this brutal schedule.
Yeah.
So, let's move on to the Arizona Wildcats. As last year, they went 7-6, 5-4 in the conference, finished 3rd in the South, and lost to Purdue in the Foster Farms Bowl. They returned 16 total starters, 7 on offense and 9 on defense. Their key losses included Dane Cruikshank and Brandon Rutt. Talking about Kevin Sumlin, though, he comes in after a stint with, I think it was a 6-year stint with the Texas A&M Aggies. What do you think about the Kevin Sumlin hire?
Yeah, so I'm biased. I love it because I think that he is in a perfect situation. I'm high in Arizona this year, and like I said, I'm biased because I watched him change the Aggies when he had Johnny Manziel, and I'm a big Sumlin fan because of that. I love Khalil Tate, and this Kevin Sumlin fit could be really freaking good. Rich Rod was fine, but Sumlin could bring one heck of a spark to Tucson. This team is going to be so freaking fun.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think this is a great hire. He's a guy that can help take this program to the next level.
Yeah, I like it. He was never anything special at A&M, but he always got the job done by getting to 8 wins basically every year.
I mean, I think they had, if there's a playoff at the time, I think they would have won the national championship with that Johnny Manziel team with Mike Evans. I think they would have upset Alabama again in the playoffs. Remember, they beat them this year. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
Were they even top 4?
No, I'm saying, but that was if you go back and watch that team play, there is not a team, if they got a shot to play against, I'm trying to find I think it was 2012, because I'm trying to go back right now, because Rice, 2013 was the game he was suspended. It was 2012, they don't have it in this magazine, so I can't go through the schedule, but they're 2012, it was Johnny Manziel, Christian Michael is the running back, Mike Evans is the receiver, their defense was good.
They were a very talented team, but if I remember right, they weren't a top 4 team. So like,
they were. They were 15 or something. And Bama was 1, and they upset them, and then they moved up into like the top 5 or something like that. But what I'm saying is that team, I think, could have won the national championship if they had the opportunity.
Yeah. Let's see.
They
were number 5 at the end of the season.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And with Dan, come on, yeah, with the playoff, they would have been in. Come on, if you beat Alabama, you're in.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
Dan.
I don't know who was. Notre Dame was in that. Alabama, Georgia. They wouldn't have taken 3 SEC teams.
They would have been in the national. They would have been in the SEC championship.
I'm pretty sure Georgia would have.
This was their first year in the SEC. Remember this?
Alabama made the
national championship.
SEC championship and won. They beat Georgia.
But I'm saying they would have. They might have put. Remember how Alabama didn't make the SEC championship this year?
That year?
This year. 2018.
2018.
Alabama did not go to the SEC championship.
Last year, you mean?
This year. This year that just happened.
So last year, yeah.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Texas A&M would get in, and they would.
That year. You're talking about 2012.
Oh my God. All right, never mind. I'm not even going to try and talk about
it. Okay, but it
anymore.
didn't happen.
Never mind. They didn't have a playoff.
No.
It doesn't matter. I don't care. No, I'm not doing this. All in all, I love the Kevin Sumlin hire. I loved what he did with Johnny Manziel and the Aggies, and I'm really hoping that he can make a spark in Tucson.
Okay, yeah, I think he could really build something here. He competed in the toughest division in college football in the SEC West, but now he's in a much weaker division, maybe the weakest in the Power 5. where he only needs to worry about a USC and maybe a Utah. So eventually he could get this Arizona team to something special. So let's talk about Khalil Tate, though. Very solid quarterback he had. I don't remember what month it was. Might have been October. He had a very solid 4 games. I don't even know what I'm saying right now.
Yeah, what are you saying?
He had a very solid 4-game stretch where he was the best player in college football and led them to 4 wins in a row. How high are you on Khalil Tate?
I love him. I think he's top 3 most dangerous QBs in college right now. He can absolutely destroy you single-handedly. The wide receivers are more experienced than ever, and I think Arizona's going to light it up. It's simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty high on him. I wouldn't expect quite the same numbers as that 4-game stretch or even the whole year. He's struggled in the last couple of regular season games, and I think the tape is out on him a little bit. However, he's just so electrifying, and he'll make some big plays in this Pac-12 conference.
Yeah, I think he is the second best quarterback in the Pac-12 and can definitely have a shot at the Heisman if Arizona has a surprise year. And unlike Jake Browning, Khalil Tate is very flashy and has that Heisman it factor that you look for. So I'm really high on Khalil Tate this year if Arizona can get to 9 or 10 wins. But I don't have that. So let's get into the record and standings prediction for the Wildcats.
Yeah, I have them 8-4. I have them losing at Houston, USC, at Utah, and Colorado.
I like them at 9-3. I think they beat Houston and lose to USC, Utah, and UCLA.
I have 7-5, 5-4 in the conference, finished 3rd in the South. I think they beat Cal, but lose to Houston, USC, UCLA, Utah, and Oregon. Khalil Tate is really all they have, along with a solid offensive line.
You don't like the receivers? I think this is the most experienced unit they have, and I just they've had in recent years, and so I like that with a Khalil Tate guy.
I look at this team as a Louisville from last year.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I think they're a little better, but yeah.
You think they're a little better than Louisville?
Yeah, last year.
Really?
Yeah. And I like Sumlin more. That's part of it. I like Kevin Sumlin more than I like Bobby Petrino, because who the heck likes Bobby Petrino?
So yeah, all right, I can see that. Let's talk about UCLA though. 6-7 last year, 4-5 in the conference, and finished 4th in the South. And then they lost to Kansas State in the Cactus Bowl. They returned to 12 total starters, 5 on offense and 7 on defense. Their key losses include Josh Rosen, the chosen Rosen, Jordan Lasley, and Kenny Young. So UCLA went 4-8 2 years ago, 6-7 last year. Do you see UCLA trending upward after those seasons?
No, because they lose the best quarterback in the Pac-12 last year. Yes, I said it, Trojan fans. Come at me. But yeah, Chip Kelly comes in, and his scheme is a lot different than Jim Mora. These are all still majority Mora's kids, so it's going to be a while until Chip Kelly gets his guys to work under his system. Right. I am excited to watch Wilton Spate have Chip Kelly as his coach, though, because that will be fantastic. Wilton Spate and Chip Kelly, literally the 2 opposites, so I'm excited to see that.
Do you think Spate's going to start?
No, but I want him to, just for the fun.
I don't like Wilton Spate.
I know, who does? He's literally the worst quarterback ever, and he's so boring, but that's fun in Chip Kelly's system.
Hopefully he's not listening to this.
Yeah, that'd be really awesome.
Shout out Wilton Spate. Big fan of the program.
Not as bad as Brandon Harris from last year, though.
Yeah, you probably didn't hear that one. Well, Wilton Spate, friend of the program. We absolutely love him here.
Do we?
There you go. Now you heard us.
Heisman candidate.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I think this offense is going to go through a huge rebuilding year. I love the Chip Kelly hire. But I still think that they can pull off a couple of upsets. We'll talk about that in a second.
I want to talk to Dylan after this, Dan. You can talk about. I gotta go back to this. He likes the Chip Kelly hire. I gotta talk to him about this.
Okay.
You don't like the Chip Kelly?
I gotta ask you something.
I do not see them getting to 7 wins this year, but only because of the schedule. They have arguably the toughest schedule in the country, and it's going to be hard to even go bowling. I think the Chip Kelly era will begin not so well, but he will eventually get this team to compete for the Pac-12. He took an Oregon team that was a top 25 team every year and put them in the national spotlight. He even got into the playoff. So, I mean, he's even a better. He's in an even better recruiting area now, and I think you should put UCLA at the top of the Pac-12 eventually.
All right, I gotta ask you guys this question then: why Chip Kelly? His system is not going. His system he ran in Oregon is so it's outdated now. I mean, it's easy to stop now. They do it like this happens all the time. No huddle is not new and inventive. I mean, he was the first guy to get, and so why is that going to work now at UCLA? That's not.
He did it as lately as like 2013 when he made the playoff with Oregon and made the national championship. Mm-hmm. No, it was 2014 or 15.
My question, but then he went to the NFL. It didn't work. Then he was out of Then he was out of coaching. Why him coming back is that going to work when his system is not special now? What he did at Oregon is not any different than what teams are doing right now.
I mean, yeah, but he did it so recently though. Like, I don't understand why.
Yeah, it hasn't been proven to be bad with him, at least in college.
That's my question. Like, how do you know if it isn't going to be him coming out and fizzling out because he tries the exact same thing he tried at Oregon?
Because it worked at Oregon.
Yeah, it hasn't been proven to not work yet.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I think you guys are banking on everything going right when he's running the exact same offense. That, like, his offense is not special. What he's doing now at UCLA is not different than what other teams are doing. It's what he did.
Yeah, but he knows how to. He's one of the best at it. So
but teams know how to stop it. Like, it's not hard now. Like, it's not. Oh wow, I wonder what UCLA is going to do.
Mean, dude, it was literally like 2015 when Oregon was good.
I understand.
So like,
but that's
that was
3 years.
Exactly.
That's a lot can change in 3 years. Dan, Colin Kaepernick was in the Super Bowl 3 years ago. 4 years ago.
If that's the case, then why do you like Herm Edwards so much?
That's my point. Is how can you not like that? I don't like
Herm Edwards' offense is like 30 years old.
30 years old. This guy coached against the Colts in 2006. That's 12.
Yeah, and Chip Kelly coached 3 years ago.
But I don't hate Chip Kelly. I'm saying this is no different than the Herm Edwards thing. Both systems are outdated.
No, they're not. This system is not outdated.
Everyone uses it.
Exactly. So how's it outdated?
Because it's
not
good.
special.
There's
nothing special about this. Chip Kelly is not coming to UCLA with anything new. We know what Chip Kelly has to bring. A fast offense that players are either going to love him or hate him, and they have to be ready to run fast. Wow, that's so crazy. That was cool in 2012 and 2013 when it caught teams off edge and they had cool uniforms and they were the Oregon Ducks of their prime. But now he's been out of the league. He's bounced around to the NFL, come back, and hasn't got it to work. I want it to work out, but my thing is going back to Herm Edwards. How can you hate on a guy like Herm Edwards because his system didn't work, but because you don't think his system's going to work, but now you're convinced that, oh, this system's just going to translate so easily?
Because it worked so recently.
It did.
In college football. It didn't work for Chip Kelly at Oregon.
That was 3 years ago. He left and it was not successful in the NFL. Like, there's a reason it wasn't successful in the NFL. You're telling me the college teams are not going to look at NFL film and say, how do we stop Chip Kelly? Come on now.
I mean,
the game's not that different.
That is different.
The NFL is a completely different league.
You can still take things from the NFL on how to stop a coach.
Yeah, definitely, but like...
So you're telling me who's UCLA's first game?
Different coaches. That's just like... No. I
what?
I don't see your point. I just don't...
My point is you don't like Herm Edwards because you think his system will not work because people know how to stop it.
And
that is your point that you're making.
It's very outdated, and...
What I'm saying is people can literally... There is a blueprint on how to stop Chip Kelly. Watch his game seasons in San Francisco. It was literally a dumpster fire. Watch that season. See how to stop it. Coaches will pick that up easily. I love Chip Kelly. I hope he balls out in Westwood. I think he will. I love UCLA.
I just don't...
This is not crazy. I want this to work out, and I think it will work out. I'm more arguing, how can you back up Chip Kelly but not Herm Edwards? Like, you're so high on Chip Kelly and you're so low on Herm Edwards.
I'm not low on Herm Edwards. I said I like the risk.
But you said you don't like how the fit. You don't like the fit.
Because that was run... like 10 years ago, 10 to 15 years ago in the NFL.
Yeah, it's a different
30 years
league.
ago in college football. It's not going to work now.
Why?
This is run...
Wait, why? Why is it not going to work now? Keep going. I want to hear why
it's not going to work.
Dylan, not you. I want to hear this from Dan. Hold on.
Jeez.
Dan, why is this not going to work?
Well, Dylan, like you were about to say, they don't have the personnel to do it. Manny Wilkins and N'Keal Harry, okay, great players, but that's not the system that's going to be running. UCLA.
Long term, why is it not going to work?
UCLA has Dorian Thompson-Robinson, a perfect guy for
We're
UCLA
not talking about
system.
year one. This isn't a 1 year fix.
Okay, it's like a 4-year fix.
So
Yeah, Dorian Thompson-Robinson is going to play for 4 years.
You're mentioning 2 seniors for Arizona State. Maybe Wilkins is a senior.
Right.
My question to you is, why can this not work long term for Herm Edwards in Arizona State?
Because there aren't those kind of players anymore.
There aren't workhorse backs?
And just pound it up the middle every single time. Like, no, it's not going to work, dude.
It's not in the Pac-12. Like, the Big
You're
Ten.
not giving me any, like, if you just keep saying it's not going to work, you're not giving me any reason why it's not going to work besides there aren't those kind of players. There are those kind of players. Have you watched Wisconsin play football?
Yeah, and they all play in the Big Ten, not the Pac-12.
Dude, it's there.
What was
It's
the
not
Big Ten's
gonna work.
record against the Pac-12 in bowl games? They killed
What was
them. The Big Ten killed the Pac-12 last year.
Yeah.
Wisconsin, they literally do what you're saying does not work. Ground and pound.
Right.
Okay, does Wisconsin not successful right now? If you recruit the guys that are going to play that system,
I understand that.
I don't think Herm Edwards is going to stick to that system. But what I'm saying is, you're so adamant the system's not going to work because there's not that kind of players when literally Wisconsin Badgers run this system. The Wisconsin Badgers
Right.
are showing why it works.
I don't think you're getting my point. My point is that Chip Kelly uses a system.
That is used by everyone else in the league. So you know how to stop it.
Why would it be used by everyone else? Or why
It's
would
nothing
it be
special is what I'm saying.
known how to
he's fine.
stop if it's used by everyone else? If it was used by everyone else, they wouldn't use it.
What? If it was used by everyone else, they wouldn't use it?
If it
is used by everyone else.
if they know how to stop it, why would they use it?
What I'm saying is he's nothing special. He's not coming in with anything special. He's doing what every other coach is running. Not every other coach, but these coaches that do these they're no different. They run the same system.
Yes and no. Because he knows how to do it the right way.
And Herm Edwards knows how to do ground and pound like Wisconsin is doing.
It hasn't worked. It literally
Wisconsin
didn't work.
is literally
Oh my gosh, dude! It didn't work 10 to 15 years ago in the NFL. It's not going to work.
The Wisconsin Badgers are a prime example of it working.
But it's
Do you not remember the days of Jonathan Taylor last year?
It's used in the.
The Wisconsin Badgers have the perfect personnel to do it.
This isn't a one-year system. I'm not saying Herm Edwards is going to be successful next year. If you recruit the guys to run a system, they are going to be good at the system. You recruit a workhorse back, heck of a lineman. You got a guy like Herm Edwards talking to you. Those three things combined are not hard to find. Herm Edwards getting big linemen and a running back. What I'm saying is you're saying it's not going to work because it's not proven, but it is by Wisconsin. Is the first thing that comes to mind when you think of ground and pound. And there are more teams like it.
I mean, I don't know. I just don't. I said I like the risk because of the recruiting. I don't see it working in the Pac-12. I like the Chip Kelly hire because it has worked in the Pac-12.
Okay. I mean, I think you're banking too much on what happened to Oregon when that was a very different time in college football.
4 years ago was not a very different time in college football.
4 years ago wasn't a very different time in college football.
No, it wasn't. 4 years?
Do you really want to stick to that comment? Look at what happened 4 years ago. You tell me college football has not changed in 4 years.
Yeah, it's definitely changed. What are you trying to say here?
What Chip Kelly is bringing is not earth-shattering, like it was when he was at Oregon.
Dude, I understand that, okay?
That's
but
all I'm saying.
He knows how to run this system in college football. He's going to run it again in the Pac-12, and he's going to do it right. And he's going to...
All right, yeah. Then why do you have them at 6-6? Whatever you have them at 5-7. Whatever you have them at.
Because they have like 3 returning starters.
You told me you think Dorian Thompson.
We haven't even
Robinson.
talked about a record and standings prediction. How will we get into that? What's your record and standings prediction for UCLA?
I'm asking you. What do you have them at?
I have it 4-8. And this could be a 7-win team if they were playing Washington's schedule. But they have the number 1 toughest schedule in the nation. They could lose every game they play this year. The quarterback position will be interesting to watch, though. I'm pulling for Dorian Thompson-Robinson. He was very solid in high school. I've never been a fan of Wilton Spade, like we talked about earlier. This has to be a rebuilding year for Kelly. He needs to start Thompson-Robinson and get him ready for the future. This could be anywhere from 2-10 to 7-5, as they are talented but not experienced at all. 4-8, 2-7 in the conference, finished 5th in the South. I think they beat Fresno State. That's going to be a tough game, though. I think they beat Arizona, very tough game also. But I think they lose to Oklahoma, Washington, Cal, Utah, Oregon, Arizona State, USC, and Stanford. And finish 4-8. What do you guys got?
I have them at 5-7. They lose to Oklahoma, Colorado, Washington, Arizona, Oregon, USC, Stanford.
I have them at 6-6. I think they actually pull off a couple of upsets. Arizona and Utah. They have both of them at home. And they're both later in the season, so I think Thompson Robinson can get some experience by then and start to get down Chip Kelly's offense and get a couple upsets.
I think he's going to be solid in the near future for Chip Kelly. So, any last comments on UCLA?
Nope.
Jason?
Nope.
All right. Let's move on to the Utah Utes. As last year they went 7-6, 3-6 in the conference, finished 5th in the South, and beat West Virginia in the heart of Dallas Bowl as the only Pac-12 team to win their bowl game. The only team. They returned 14 total starters, 8 on offense and 6 on defense. Their key losses include Darren Carrington. Bear with me here. Lowell Lotulili, Filippo Mokifisi, and Kavika Luafatasaga. So, Utah in the Pac-12 South could be the second best team in this. Could be the best team actually in the South. Can they compete for Pac-12 South title this year?
Yeah, I think they're legit for sure. This offense, I think, will be the best it has been in recent memory. Defense will be its usual solid self. I love the 1-2 punch of Zach Moss and Armand Shine. They're definitely going to compete for it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're insanely talented anywhere, but they're complete, they're deep. The defense doesn't return a lot, but still has solid experienced pieces.
I think the key thing you look at here is the quarterback position. Yes, I do think they compete for the Pac-12 South title. They started out 4-0 last year, and that was with a healthy Tyler Huntley at quarterback. He balled out in those first 3 games, but hurt his arm against Arizona. He then returned after 2 games and was rusty the rest of the season, and even didn't start in one of the games. Everything I've seen for this year says he should be back to the way he was in those first 3. He will be a key reason why they compete for the South. Another big thing is how much experience they have returning. They were one of the least experienced teams in the country last year with only 9 returning starters and lost a lot of NFL talent. It was definitely a rebuilding year, and they should get back to their consistent ways because I think they were like one of the only 4 or 5 teams that was ranked at the end of the year in the last college football playoff rankings for like 5 straight years or something like that. And then they weren't last year, obviously. So, give me a record and singles prediction for the Utah Utes.
I have them 8-4, losing to Washington, Stanford, UCLA, and Oregon. They lose their shot at winning the division versus Oregon, even though they beat USC.
I have them at 9-3, 3rd in the Pac-12 South, but I think it's very close. They could easily get up to even first. My 3 losses will be Washington, USC, and UCLA.
Who do you have second?
I have Arizona second.
Wow. All right. I have 9-3 for Utah, 6-3 in the conference, finished second in the South. I have them losing to Washington, USC, and Stanford. Tyler Whittingham has been one of the most consistent coaches recently, and I don't see why that should change. Let's move on to Colorado, though. As last year they were 5-7, 2-7 in the conference, and finished last in the South. They returned only 10 starters this year, 4 on offense and 6 on defense. Their key losses include Philip Lindsay, Bryce Bobo, and Isaiah Oliver. Let's talk about Colorado here. Record and standings prediction for them.
Yeah, I love Steven Montez. I think he's going to be one of the Pac-12's top QBs. I have him 7-5 at Nebraska, UCLA, at USC, at Washington, and Utah are the 5 games they lose. I really like Steven Montez.
I can't really buy Colorado this year. I mean, besides Steven Montez in the offense, they returned almost nothing. I think they finished 4-8, only beating Colorado State, New Hampshire, Oregon State, and Washington State.
Yeah, they have an even more inexperienced team than last year, and their best player's gone in Philip Lindsay. That's really like all they had last year, and Steven Montez, obviously. This year, really all they have is Steven Montez, and then like no talent after that. So I have them 3-9, 1-8 in the conference, finishing last in the South. I think they beat Oregon State for their 1 win in the conference, but then they lose out of conference to Nebraska, and then the rest of their Pac-12 games. But you have them at 7-5. That's pretty crazy, honestly. Like, what else do you like besides Steven Montez?
I just think they're a stronger team than people are giving them credit for. Just because you look at what they've got. I mean, Steven Montez is very good in and of itself. Like, I think it's easy just to say, oh, he's only got one guy, but I mean, he's a quarterback and he's one of the top guys in this Pac-12. So I think that's enough in and of itself. I think this receiving group is not going to lose a lot, even though they do not. Like, they lose a lot of like actual players, but I don't think it's a drop off in terms of return on their investments. And then you look at their defensive backs. They're very experienced. Yes, they lose Isaiah Oliver, but they're super experienced. And I don't think it's that crazy to have them at 7-5. A lot of people are saying they're going to be very improved. Phil Steele has them on his most improved list, and I think they're going to have a heck of a season. And it's only a 2-game difference from last year.
Yeah, you were also high on them last year too.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had them 7-5 too.
Yeah.
They're only 2 games off.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't see it. I really only see Steven Montez with them, especially with a very inexperienced team. Because, me and my returning starters.
Yes.
So, yeah.
That's all you worry about.
Yeah. But let's go into Heisman contenders from this division.
I mean, it's Khalil Tate. I think that's it. It's just Khalil Tate.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. But, I mean, I really don't see anybody else. I mean, if JT Daniels just like, let's go ball out for 12 straight games. But I really doubt it. So yeah, just Khalil Tate for me too. Surprise team though.
I guess Arizona. I mean, I don't really have anything huge. I guess Arizona or Colorado. You guys seem to think it was weird about
I'd say
Colorado, but
definitely.
everyone else seems to like Colorado too. So I don't know. I guess one of
What'd
those
you have
two.
Arizona?
I think 9-3 or 8-4. 8-4.
I have Arizona at 9-3. That'll be my surprise team, finishing second in the Pac-12 South.
Okay, I have Utah. After a rough season with a lot of inexperience, I think
You liked them last year too.
No, I think John liked them.
I
was a little bit lower than John on that. I think John had like 10-2 actually.
I thought you had them like 8-4, 9-3, or something like
I
that.
don't remember, but I think Tyler Whittingham is one of the most underrated coaches in college football, and he'll get this team back on track. Let's get into our bold prediction from the Pac-12 South. What do you got?
Arizona upsets USC, wins Pac-12.
My bold prediction is Herm Edwards completely fizzles out with Arizona State and never wins 6 games.
Wow. That's crazy. I got Matt Fink and Jack Sears transfer at the end of the year after JT Daniels beats them both out and has a very solid season.
All aboard the JT Daniels hype train.
Well, I don't think he's going to be like super special this year, but down the road he'll be their quarterback for the future. Definitely.
Alright, that's going to do it for this episode of the Pac-12 South. We appreciate you sticking through all of this if you're listening to this right now. Make sure you comment and subscribe for a chance to win a free Scooch case at the end of August. Check out our other playlists. We've got NFL, NBA, college football, obviously, and fantasy football. All that and more. Like I said, thank you guys for listening, and check out our other episodes like the Pac-12 North. What do we think about those teams? Washington, Stanford, those type of guys, along with all of the conferences. Check all of that out and more. Follow us on Twitter at The Sports Sermon, where we will put it there first as soon as those episodes are out. We'll keep it going, and we appreciate all of your guys' support. Thanks for listening. Deuces.